Hi there. So in this video, we'll be discussing about Agile Manifesto. So are you a part of an Agile team or are you a part of an organization who is on its Agile transformation journey? Or you are someone who is just trying to learn Agile? If yes, then it's very important for you to get started with Agile Manifesto because Agile Manifesto is the foundation of the whole Agile methodology and all its underlying frameworks. It was created and signed by the group of people who actually officially introduced Agile somewhere in 1990s. So it's important for you that you know what is there in the Agile Manifesto and what it actually means. Then only you will be able to truly understand the meaning of being agile. So let's get started. The manifesto has four major points in it. The first point in it says individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So, what do we mean by it? It's not that processes and tools are not important, but Agile gives more importance to individuals and interactions. Only processes and tools are required to support individuals and interactions, but alone any process or any tool that cannot make your project successful, right? Your project can only be successful by a highly motivated group of individuals working towards the goal of your project as a team. That is something which makes your project successful. So it is basically the people behind the success of a project, not processes and tools. So that is the whole reason why Agile gives a lot more importance to individuals and interactions. It's important that you have a highly motivated group of individuals and they interact frequently enough to keep the things moving. So that is all about this first point is. Now the second point. It is my personal favorite and it says that working software over comprehensive documentation. So this is really the best and most important key point in the Agile Manifesto. Agile doesn't say that no documentation is needed. No, it doesn't say that. Documentation is needed, but only the bare minimum, only the much which is really required. But what is far more important than documentation is the actual working product, right? Because what will you do with just the documentation if there is no good working product? For example, suppose you buy something from the market. You buy a hair dryer, okay? You tell me, do you really ever read the whole manual and all that stuff which is there within the box? The answer would be no, rarely. We rarely read, the stuff that is being given along with the product. It's there, yeah. I mean, if you need it, you can read it, but people rarely, pay much attention to it. Your more interest is towards using the product and, see, how is your experience with it. Because I mean, this is my experience. I rarely, read much about the product. I only just, give attention to the bare minimum details which I just need to see. I rarely, go in the nitty gritty of the, details. My more interest is towards using the product because this is human tendency. So it's more important that you frequently come up with a working software, get it reviewed by the stakeholders, take their feedback, and incorporate the feedback in the upcoming iterations. You improve your product, right? So rather than just coming up with a thorough documentation and showing that to the customer, it is more important that you have a working software. You present that to the customer, get their feedback, and get the things moving from there. Now the third point, which is again a very important point, it says customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Okay, so what does it mean? In the traditional waterfall method, or the traditional ways of doing the project management, um, there was a lot more importance given to a contract that is being signed between the client and the vendor, and you know um, not doing anything which is outside the contract, not taking any such requirement which is outside the contract, or even if a requirement which is there but it has become obsolete, then only then also the team used to deliver that because it's in the contract. And also the client never came back and said that this is something which we no longer require. So, and then in the end, when you deliver the product, there would be a lot of fight between the client and the vendor, because uh, now the client feels that this is something which is really not required. This is something which was really not required. It's not as per their expectations, blah blah blah. So no one is happy. Neither the client nor you, because you also put a lot of effort, but the client is not happy. So those sort of things used to happen. Now what Agile says, that you should pay more attention to customer collaboration rather than contract negotiation. So Agile believes in informal contracts. uh, what do we mean by it? So it says that you should engage the customer frequently enough to get their insights. You should focus on solving customer problems, right? Your whole focus should be on really solving the challenges which the customer is facing. Your product would be of no use if it's not able to solve the customer issues, right? So you should continuously engage with the customer, try to understand what are their challenges, try to collaborate with them, and then come up with the possible solutions. And you should also keep on presenting what you are developing. You should keep on presenting that to the customer, take their free feedback, incorporate that in the next development cycle. So that sort of engagement, that sort of collaboration with the customer should go on, right? And be transparent with the customer. There is no need to hide the facts and hide the details, make false promises. That is really not required. If there is something which is challenging for you and you think that you won't be able to do it, it's better to collaborate with the customer to discuss that. Then only both of you will be able to come up with some possible solution, and both of you will be on the same page. In the end, there won't be any bad surprises. Okay, so that is something which is really needed, especially in this complex and ever changing world. So collaborate with the customer and be very transparent with the customer. The last point says responding to change over following a plan. And this is a point which is very much misunderstood by the people in the industry. They think that Agile says that there is no plan in it. So it doesn't says. It says that following a plan is important, but uh, we really value responding to change more. Okay, responding to change over following a plan. So, if you want to understand it better, then you should, think about the sprints in Scrum. So, if you are aware about the Scrum framework, so we have a fixed time boxed sprints in Scrum. For example, there is a sprint of 2 weeks. Okay. So, what we do in those 2 weeks, we create a plan for those 2 weeks. We follow that plan, and then after the 2 weeks we plan again, because we think that in those 2 weeks something would have changed in the outside world. Now the customer must be having a new list of prioritized requirements. So after 2 weeks we meet again, we get the increment reviewed by the customer, and then we plan again for next 2 weeks. That is how we move from one sprint to another. So we follow a plan, but we follow a plan which is a short term. you know uh, we follow a 2 weeks of plan, we follow a 3 weeks, or we follow maximum of a 1 month of a plan, because uh, we are operating in a complex domain, and something that you anticipated today, that it would be useful for the customer, it may not hold true after 6 months. So that is why it's really important that you inspect and adapt frequently enough, and respond to the constant changing needs of the customer, right? Because really, I mean, if you will be building something which has now become obsolete, or which is now of no much value for the customer, then the customer will get no benefit out of it. The customer is not going to get any value out of it. So it's important that you respond to the ever changing needs of the customer, and you incorporate that in your plan. That is really important. So that is why the last point of the Agile Manifesto says that we value responding to change more over following a plan, rather than just blindly sticking to a fixed plan. It is important that we understand what has changed in the outside world. Now what is that which my customer really needs, and let's try to build that, because that is something which will make my customer happy, and that is something which will make my business successful. So this is the last point of the Agile Manifesto. So these were the four key points which are there in the Agile Manifesto, and these basically serve as a value set and as a foundation for the whole Agile methodology. So let me know if there is anything in the Agile Manifesto that you want to understand more in detail, and you want to build more knowledge around it. Let me know about it. You can put your comments, and I'll try to come up with another video to explain uh, the topic that you need to understand. And you can also let me know if there are any specific topics in Agile or Scrum that you want to understand, that you want to build your knowledge around. I'll be more than happy to come up with the videos of that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Good day. Bye bye.